Hi, it's Silverette again, and please excuse me here as I'm struggling to talk like a normal human being because I've currently got a sore throat, but you know, I still have to keep this stuff going on, and I really haven't recorded any videos beforehand. I used to have many videos saved, which was actually a good idea, but I haven't had that in a very long time. I haven't been able to play a lot of Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 as of lately, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I don't do that anymore. And that's also one of the reasons why my current planning doesn't seem to be too, well, logical. I suppose that's something that I'd like to talk about, because I talked about this in the last video, and I actually got quite some comments about this as well, is the fact that I don't have a schedule, and I indeed don't. And it might be a good idea to have that, but then again, I only really play this game when I really want to play it, and when I really feel like playing it, and actually enjoy doing something, and especially a particular project. And I don't want to be forced to do or, well, release certain videos on certain times. I just want to enjoy stuff, and I suppose that also, that's one of the main reasons. I don't want to have this become like a job or anything like that. This is still a hobby, and I still try to release as many videos as I can sometimes, and actually keep the diversity going in them, but I don't want to force myself to actually do that. This is still just a hobby. And I'm already kind of almost forcing myself to do certain things, and that's also something that I wanted to talk about. And I actually wanted to do this later on, but it's about Silver City. I'm actually planning to cancel Silver City, as in not totally abandon it, but quickly finish it and move on to a new city, because I've kind of reached that point where I feel like I can do something better than that. It feels like the park has derailed in a way that this park hasn't. Though this style is very similar to all of the buildings that I already have. By the way, just kind of talking about what's going on right now. I was planning to make a little facade with Amsterdam-ish buildings, just a couple of very narrow buildings together to kind of form a big facade using which I can kind of fill that corner, because there's nothing to really go on over there. But then again, I don't want to have forests either, and why didn't I cut out this part with the pipes? Because the game crashed and then I lost all that. Okay, so restarting with that. But anyway, that's not how I feel about Silver City, because I really do feel like the city isn't all that good. And I don't want to tell myself that my city sucks. I'm somewhat happy with some of the buildings, but it's derailed to a point where I don't feel like I really want to work on the project anymore. And this has happened very often with many projects. When I wouldn't record them as a Let's Play. Now it's actually happened with a project that I did record as a Let's Play, and I usually wouldn't just end it right there. So what I'm going to do is just create a couple of small episodes, adding some extra buildings in there, and then just finishing the rest off with foliage. That's really all I'm going to do. Just gonna place big forests around it and then create a video of it, because I do feel like I want to try and go for something more realistic. And it's not because I'm not interested in the park anymore, because that's usually why you drop a park and then never come back to it. I'm actually more interested than I was when I started with it, and I started doing some more research on buildings, and I've actually got a better idea in my head of what I wanted to do, because the more I built in Silver City, the more I felt like, no, this is not heading in the right direction entirely. So that's why I want to work on that again. And really, the thing that's going on in this park isn't all that spectacular. I'm still afraid that everything is going to be too similar of what I already have, but you're going to see in a while what I'm going to do with that, because basically what I tried to do in this case is, like I said before, I kind of wanted to have a antique-ish, well, influence in here, and I took that influence into the small arcs that I'm using in the buildings that I'm currently building here, but I'm actually going to build a very big building in the neoclassical style, and that brings us to the new style. Hooray, everyone. Okay, the new style is going to be neoclassical, spooky, alpine, steampunk with I lost all of the other themes. Well, it's going to be all the stupid stuff that I have going on already, but with classical elements, loads of classical elements. So that means all the good stuff we're used to, pipes and the wood stuff and all that good jazz, but with pillars, those sexy pillars. Really, those classical things are just too sexy. I'm kind of almost, I don't know, I want to do something with my new park, something that I've rarely tried before, or something which I haven't released too often. But then again, this Alpine, okay, there's a couple of themes that I really like. Alpine, I've covered that in this park. I like Medieval, I've covered that in this park, and really it's been done to death, really, so I kind of want to avoid that as well. Then there's Classical, of course, which I've already done, so don't really want to do that either. And not too good at spooky stuff. I know I added some spooky influences in this park, but it's not all about that base. And then there's something else, which steampunk, yes, steampunk. But everyone's been using and abusing steampunk as of lately, so I kind of want to back off from that as well. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I've got a couple of ideas. One idea that I might just go for is Asian. I've never ever done a true Asian theme. I know I did that one Asian coaster which was Elf, but there's nothing else, and it didn't really have Asian theming in terms of buildings. For some reason I thought that I could use the English Victorian style with Japanese foliage. I have no idea where that came from, but that's what happened with that coaster. But I actually do want to go for a real Asian park, perhaps. This other idea that I had is to go for a Baltic theme. As weird as that sounds, it's kind of like medieval and alpine, but then again, it's not, and it has like the Northern European influences and everything. It's hard to explain. It's kind of like, I've heard somebody explain that Estonia is like a country stuck in the medieval times, and I had a good, laugh at that. And so I know that many people actually refer to it as Shrek theme. I don't know. It kind of does look like that. But yeah, that's basically what I want to try. Some Baltic thing. One is that I just like the countries, and I just like the cities and all that. But I have never ever seen anyone try that. And I do kind of want to think outside the box and actually do something which not many people have done before. Then there is the option to do an African park, but I'm not too interested in that. So I'm probably gonna not do that. And I probably also suck at that, so really there's no point. But it would be cool to make like a zoo or something. It's still on my plans, but definitely not in, the near future, I suppose. And then there are just other small ideas, but really, I think it's gonna be either Baltic or it's gonna be, just Asian. And that counts for the city as well. What I'm probably gonna do is, I might do this actually, but if I make an Asian city, for example, I'll decide to make a Baltic park, and if I make a Baltic park, I'm just gonna do an Asian, that's what I said already. If I'm going to do a Asian park, I'm just gonna do a Baltic city. Was that what I said? Well, you get the point anyway. I keep forgetting things. Like I said, I even forget things I said 1 minute after I said it. That's how amazing I am at doing that. But yeah, this is basically going to be that classical building that I've talked about earlier. And I've no idea if this is going to work. It might just turn into a huge fail. That might very well be the case, because what is the idea behind classical, alpine, spooky stuff? Like, look at that. I actually used the spooky chimneys from Station Jim's haunted ghost cabin thingy, and I don't know if that really makes sense, but it looks cool, so I just decided to go with it. But I'm gonna finish this building in the next episode and actually see if it's gonna work out then, because I still don't have a clue what I want to do with this building, especially the spire. I mean, this pediment. Not too sure what to do with that. But anyway, that's all for the next episode, so see you then.